morning.
Are you? How long does that last? I know it's the first weekend is in order.
I'll be gone, yeah, I'll be gone starting tomorrow through probably about Sunday night, and then we go to Maryville Wednesday to Tuesday. Back home for 5 days, and I go to South Carolina for
So
8
you
days.
won't be here next week either, with all that going on for you.
With, yeah, I'm coming back.
Well, good.
Yeah, I'll go to South Carolina for 8 days, and then North Carolina.
You gonna be a busy man.
That way every week.
Yeah, make sure you turn your microphones on when you talk. Well, she must not be, shit. I didn't talk to her.
I didn't see her yesterday.
I didn't talk to her yesterday, talked to her Saturday. All right, you ready? All right, welcome to the work session of the Kingston City Council. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand. I'd like to ask Mr. Childs if he'd lead us in the pledge of flag after Mr. Brown leads us in invocation.
Pray with me, please. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you during the week of independence, thanking you for our country, that we can meet here together as a free person and as a group that can do the constituency of the citizens of Kingston. We want you to be with us and lead us and guide us and direct us. And thank you for everyone that had a part in this week's activities as we celebrated this great country's birthday. And we'll give you praise every day for all that you have done for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right, so first thing on the agenda tonight is we got citizens' comments. Is there anyone wishing to address the board, the council tonight on anything? And seeing this crowd, I'm sure there's going to be. Yes, Commissioner. And when you do come,
Some of them have asked me to talk to you about the veterans plaques that we got up. I know I've talked to you and David Bowling. You've explained it to me, and I don't know what else you can do other than the fact that the flags we got now, some of the flags are getting older, like mine's been there for 2 to 3 years, and I'd say it's probably deteriorated. They don't know how to do it, so they said that they're gonna take them down at Christmas time, put up the Christmas decoration. Afterwards, they're gonna look and see how many of them is as good as possible and put them back up, like some of them can. But now that's up to them, what they can do, and all we can do is ask them if they will notify the families that the thing has deteriorated so much that it can't be used, and you'd have to also pay another fee to have another flag made, or plaque made. That would make sense to me, but now I talked to Tim, and he told me he was gonna start this out to explain it to you. But I don't think they're gonna do away with the flag, they're just saying some of them can't be put back up. Like I said, I could look at mine, and if you put it up, it's been there 2 or 3 years. If it doesn't show a face, then it's not really not doing any good. So what they're doing is they set it up, and I called today. I notified last Sunday, talked to Tim called me back, Dave called me back Monday. They explained this to me. They're not gonna take it down permanently unless they get so bad that they can't be used anymore. But now, you got to understand, they've gotta take it down if they don't show them right, okay? Is that it?
yeah, I didn't know if you want me to explain it or you wanted to. Do what?
Is that any better than you could have done?
Well, I don't know. But yeah, and I don't know where the rumor got started that we were taking the banners down. There was a big discussion a couple of months ago about how long should they be up for? You know, do we continue this banner with the veterans? Do we do something different? It's just discussions and never in a time, and I believe it was the council meeting that I was out of town, was ever discussed, because I watched it, of taking them down permanently. You know, they will come down after Veterans Day for the Christmas lights to go back up and go back next spring. We don't have it on tonight's agenda to discuss it. I did find out from Ms. Stockton that right now we've got 223 veteran banners up with 41 more to go. And one of our major problems, which is talked about quite often in here, is a bucket truck that and getting one from the vendor. We've had one ordered now for months, almost a year. So they're not coming down, but we are going to discuss about, I'm going to have them put it on next month's agenda about what kind of time frame in which we rotate them out. You know, every 2 years. And Ms. Stockton said she had when each banner went up, and so she'll know whose has been up the longest. And of course, in the weather, they're going to deteriorate. So, but the rumor on Facebook was not even close to being true. So, does anyone else on council want to talk about it or say anything?
If it's okay,
Yeah.
I'd just like to thank everyone that has participated in the the Hometown Hero program. We started off when the city asked us if Outdoor Kingston would order them for the city, and they wound up, we were thinking 14 was our first order, and from 14 to go to total of 264, and I kid you not, to this date, I probably have 10 that I've had to contact to tell them that we're not doing any more ordering for this fiscal year. And that was actually decided, I think, last meeting was to stop the orders for this fiscal year. So as far as the veteran banners, having a policy in place for the banners, I think is the best thing, to be transparent to every person that's participated and every veteran, because that's something we want to be very respectful in the whole process of this. When they go up and when they come down. We were thinking Memorial Day to Veterans Day because of the holidays, what they represent. But we've talked about for having the Christmas lights come down. Would that be the time that the veteran banners come up or go up, because of it only makes sense? And David was saying it would be easier for the city to do it that way. Whatever that decision is, we want to make sure that it's clear on the communication to everyone, especially everyone that's sponsored a banner. So I think it's a fantastic program and 100% for it.
Yeah, I think we all are 100% for it. And when it was first brought to us, you know, I never imagined that it would get as big as it's gotten. And I know that I think Rockwood and Harriman's thinking about doing the same thing. So I'm gonna make sure that we contact them and say, you probably need to go ahead and get a policy in place before you start putting them up, so everybody will understand what's going on with it. Like I said, I never thought it'd be that big. So, does that cover everything, Dave, you got?
What do you people think? Do you have anything you want added to it? I mean, there's not much more that you can do. They've done all they can do. After they get so long, they get bad. Yes, sir.
That, Roger, we're going to look at them and see. Like I said, it's not discussed this month. We're going to discuss it next month on the agenda, and see what, if it's, of course, if one's been up for a year and it looks terrible, you know, with the weather and everything, then, you know, it won't go back up. It'll go back to the family, and they can buy another one if they would like. So we're hoping maybe next month that I'll kick in some ideas. And, you know, kind of gives us a little time, because we got time before we take them down till November anyway. So it'll give us a little time between the time we take them all back down and we put them back up to really nail down an idea of how we want to do it.
It's an ongoing process. We continue rotating them at this point.
Yes.
Not seeing David's face will be a real problem.
Yes, sir.
Be a number dictated at that next meeting of what y'all are thinking about?
I'm sure it's going to have to be, because eventually we're going to run out of poles. And we kind of wanted to put them in the main driving areas of town so everybody can see them and everybody can, you know, can enjoy them. And I have really enjoyed them, looking at the ones that, especially the older ones that, you know, they're in World War II and fought with Patton's army and all that stuff. I thought it was really cool. So that's something else we'll discuss about how many. We probably need to get a poll count to see how many we can put up and go from there. Mr. Bowling.
Hey, I just want to, one thing that's been circulating around is that, you know, if they do get deteriorated, that we're going to destroy them. And those do not belong to us. If there's one that for whatever reason can't go back up, it will go back to the people who purchased it. So we won't be destroying anything. I just wanted to clarify that.
Anything else on the banners? Yes, sir.
This may be a petty point, but
heroes. There's a lot of people here in our hometown who do not consider themselves heroes, even though they were in combat. They consider the heroes the ones that didn't come out.
Right, and I don't think it was any play on words or anything like that, you know. Maybe not, and I understand, because I've heard it a lot from a lot of different veterans about, you know, the heroes are the ones that we left over there, not the ones that came back. But I think that.
I was just, excuse me for interrupting.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we could just say, for those who served or something, you know, to that nature. Looks like I said that maybe any.
Okay.
A lot of people.
Anyone else? All right, is anyone here for anything else besides the banners? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go into business. So the first item agenda we got tonight is discussion of modifying the city park tennis course for pickleball. Councilmember Griffiths, City Manager Bowling, and Mr. Best. And Mr. Best unable to be here with us. And I see that you've got a recommendation. Mr. Griffiths, you can speak on it if you want to. You've got a recommendation. We turn this, refer it to the Park and Rec Committee for them to discuss it. Mr. Bowling.
Hey, okay, I'll start out. No, well, I mentioned this several months ago. The main thing was get them resurfaced. No, and we did say get them resurfaced as tennis courts. But then we've been, you can tell pickleball has grown and is growing. And you tell about the interest or not. There's interest in it in Kingston and Roane County. So me and David and I think JR and Ronnie Baggett met down there and we just talking about what would be the best use of them. And we talked that day, which everything's subject to change. We talked that day though that with the two high school tennis courts and being used off and on for tennis, and I can't speak for the high school tennis coach, but they're supposed to be in the works of getting those resurfaced and redone. That David and JR contacted the company, and you can see in your package if it went all pickleball, there could be 6 in there. And of course we do just 2 tennis courts, and altogether it'll be 4 pickleball courts. Tennis courts will be easier to use pickleball, but of course I don't know when you're in that area, but some nights you notice there's a crowd at the high school playing pickleball, and also a group down at the park playing pickleball on those courts. So we just need to come to a conclusion. I know we were just discussing tonight that what route does the majority want to go? All tennis, a compromise, all pickleball. One thing about it, if we done pickleball, if I know the only pickleball court we have in the county is one at the preserves that I know of. If there's another one I don't know of. So they would draw people into Kingston to play pickleball, I would imagine. Now, I can't sit here and say all 6 courts are gonna be full if we had 6 courts, but that's my say on it. Dave, you got anything to add?
Well, just briefly, because I know we have some people here, I think, who want to speak about this. But, full disclaimer, I don't play either sport, so I don't have a personal interest in it. My biggest thing is, you recently invested about $25,000 to resurface that court, and we want to see whatever is going to get that used the most and get the most use for it. I mean, that's our goal. You take a facility that's pretty much sitting there empty, and whatever we can do to bring life to it, I think would be a good use. So, we'll do whatever direction council wants to go. But
if I remember correctly, it's going to be later in the fall before that gets resurfaced.
It will be. We don't have an exact date, but we're here in October, November maybe. So it's nothing that's going to happen tomorrow. So we have some time to think about it and weigh the pros and cons. But at some point between now and then, we'll have to make a decision on what you want. So
well, Ms. Evans, it'd be fine. We just move that to the Park and Rec and let you guys discuss. You got a meeting Thursday?
We have a meeting Thursday. I do recall a few years back there were several people who came to a Park and Rec meeting asking us to restripe the courts for pickleball. So I know there's a huge interest in it. We've already been addressed about that a few years back, but I'll happily put it on the agenda for this week if that's what you'd like me to do.
I think that'd be.
Can I ask a couple questions first? Pickleball nets are different than tennis court nets. do we know the estimate of what 6 pickleball nets would be?
No, we don't. We haven't gotten that far into it yet. We will, of course, striping's the striping, but you're right, we will have to, if we convert it, we'll have to put up new nets, and probably we'll put up new nets even if we go back tennis, just because, those have been up there for a long time, so. But we haven't, we're gonna wait and see what direction you all wanna go before
Yeah,
we.
'cause there's not a tennis court, a pickleball court, or anywhere that's public in Roane County that doesn't have a huge crack in it. So, courts, when they're resurfaced, of course, whether it's pickleball or tennis, they're gonna have more use. Sometimes I go all the way to Roane County Park and theirs in the same shape, so is Roane State. If the school is going to resurface, I would like to know that, because I'd be more apt to say, yeah, all pickleball, if there were gonna be tennis courts available.
Yeah, well, the only thing I can say on that issue, I could use now building new schools.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
one thing I can tell you on that issue, Jessica, the new high school tennis coach, or however long she's done it, she's excited about it. She already talked to the school board about it, and Mr. Robertson, and it sounds like it's a go, but I'm not gonna say it here and say it's a go, because you know how things sometimes happens. But she is excited about doing it. Now on that issue, another thought I had, when the track's redone on the cracks, if it don't happen, most of the surface on those courts is not that bad. It's the cracks.
Yeah.
So if some reason we can find out if the school board's not gonna do that, which it needs to be done, but if it don't, then maybe when they come down to do the track, because it's supposed to be good patching, maybe we can get them to do that and then restripe them. Because I know the high school course is sort of used by city and school, just like Southwest Point. Now when the time comes, because I asked David about some has comments on this, and David said wait till we started discussing it. So whenever we're done discussing, if you want to hear some of the citizens' comments, and I do appreciate everybody coming up, good support for this. This good to see. We usually don't hardly have nobody here at our meetings, and then we had 2 groups here tonight, so that's good to see. But basically, that's my spiel on it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's gonna be paved like next month or anything, so if it goes back to Parks and Rec, that's.
No,
We meet Thursday, so I can let you guys know on Tuesday what they said.
We have time, and I will say that, and of course, it doesn't mean anything's official, but when we met with the company who got the bid for the track and who we contracted with to do the tennis courts, when we met with them, he was already in town that day doing an estimate on the high school courts, so it looks like it's moving in that direction.
Mr. Baggett, you had something?
Just on the cost of the net, what I found from a retail side was about $1,000 per court.
Okay.
The 2 posts were around 600 and plus your nets.
Okay.
Just an estimate, you're looking at just the post and the net, it's about $1,000.
Okay.
How
Thank
does
you.
that compare with tennis, do you know?
I didn't look up what the tennis was, but I'll say the posts are the same, so it's just the length of the net.
Yeah.
And I believe that JR said that his recommendation, I'm not sure why, I guess just the age and condition is, when we do this, even if we go back tennis, we replace the nets and the posts.
Okay.
Because apparently, all that stuff,
So
who knows how old it is.
when do you think that they'll be doing resurfacing?
We don't know for sure. He thinks maybe October is kind of what they're shooting for, but they have a lot of people in front of us. So
Yeah, I understand. Yes, Ronnie.
I've heard on that asphalt, the colder the temperature, the better. The cracks will open up better, filled in. So waiting, I hate to say waiting.
that's part of it, and the fact that we're just back in line. But yeah, that
Yeah.
too. So
And we're at their mercy. They're the ones that wanted to bid to do it. So, okay. So we'll just turn it over to Park and Rec, and you guys can discuss it Thursday night.
Also, Park and Rec Board meets Thursday night at 6 at the community center, if you all would like to come.
All right. Moving on to number 5 is continued discussion of the proposed agreement between the City of Kingston and Watts Bar Utility District for the treatment of wastewater. Mr. Bowling, Mr. Hamilton.
Well, I'll just open this up. I mean, as you know, this is something we've been talking about for some time now. We've batted around a couple of drafts of a proposed agreement. We have one submitted by Watts Bar. city attorney recently put together one that I put in your packets. But I know that Watts Bar is anxious to move forward with this. I've talked to representatives at Long Island Marina. They're anxious to find a resolution to it. So wanted to bring this back up. Obviously, it's your discretion how it moves forward, but we did put together a draft for you, and we give that for your consideration.
Board members, any discussion? Mr. Brown, you have anything? You guys got anything?
The main thing is I think we need to move forward.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. Barger, do you have anything? The rates are
Just changed.
$13.78 for the first 1,000 and $12.95 for the second 1,000. No, we don't do wholesale rates on sewer. $13.78 for the first 1,000, and then $12.95 for the every 1,000 over that. We did have an outside sewer rate and an inside sewer rate, but we had to change that. All right, any other discussion? Not, we'll put it on the agenda. Do you have anything else, Mr. Barger? Not, we'll put it on the agenda for Tuesday night. Item 6 is discussion of a request to rezone tax map 58 parcel 115 from R1 residential to R2. Ms. Wright, this is what we voted on in the planning commission 2-3 weeks ago, and this is the connection of the property that we rezoned. Did we rezone that property?
We did.
Didn't we?
This is a small piece of property, not small, but smaller than what we just rezoned, directly behind it and attached to it.
And it has been through the planning commission. Does anybody have any questions or discussion on it? Okay. Seeing none, item 7 is continued discussion of the gateway signage. Councilmember Stockton.
David and myself had spoke with, what's our engineering company? Yeah, there you go. And seeing if they would work with us on, we needed the drawing. We need the drawing to present to the state. They have sent us some renderings. The drawing is not a perfect drawing. I think for one thing, me personally, I would, like to make some changes as far as my suggestion would be adding Kingston versus just the state logo. But just having them move forward and work on a plan for us, I asked David for some pricing, and he sent an email out. I guess you could share the information that you received.
Yeah, to do their estimate to do the plans, draw up the plans that TDOT requires, go through the permitting process, also to survey the site. They estimate $15,000 to $20,000 for everything that would have to be done to get us application ready.
Do we have any kind of idea what this sign might cost to build?
Well, if we can get everything to go through okay with the state, it's a part of, it would be at a low cost because a majority of it is already been discussed on the donation piece of it, on the material. And then we also have involvement of them having people to oversee the project that will allow us to have labor that would be donated labor as well. So it would be nearly at no cost.
Is that for any of the options?
Well, I mean, I think some of the options you would not want, but whenever you get into the part of the signage of the wording of Kingston, you obviously would have to outsource that.
Yes, yeah.
It would be the brick monument style, and they can make any changes as they come up with this. I mean, this was just a rough draft. Something they're not going to do a whole lot of work until they know that there's numbers involved.
Okay. So, will we need to vote to allow them to do that, correct? Or is that?
Yeah, I mean, if you
they're
want
already
to,
our engineering company.
yeah, if you want to initiate them or, approve if you wanted to approve this work not to exceed a certain amount, then we can at least greenlight that process, and then, we can, whether we want to bring them in or, discuss it amongst ourselves to come up with what exactly we want them to design. A lot of the survey work, obviously that could go ahead and start, the application, a lot of the stuff, I mean, the specifics, what it says, what kind of seals on it, those sort of things would have to be decided at some point, but there's a lot of work they could be doing, in the meantime.
Anyone on council have any discussions on?
Location?
Yeah, I was thinking as you come off from here, when they're on the right.
Yeah,
by the Calvary Church.
that would be part of the surveying on the best location, but there are so many awesome areas because we have such a great,
Well, what I mean is it state right of way, is it?
well, it's all state right away. Every bit of it is.
Well,
on-
but where? Where's
On the exit, like
Okay,
the
okay.
ramp, yeah,
That's what I meant, that's
yeah. So it would be on 40,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Brown?
Have we got our money from the chamber yet?
No.
We can request it. And I'll get a letter and get it written and get it requested.
And I guess I don't know, I'm assuming that whoever does this, that it will have approval before we do a survey on where it's going, so that they don't come back and say, no, you can't put it there, we want it over here, we have to have 3 surveys.
Absolutely, it'd have to, and that's some of the stuff that they have all the documentation at
Yeah,
this
the way I
point.
understand it, they'll survey the general area. Ultimately, where it goes will be TDOT's decision. We can certainly suggest or ask if we want it in a certain spot, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to TDOT to say, here's where it's going to go, or we'll approve these 3 locations or whatever. But we're not going to be able to just put it wherever we want it. So.
All right, so that's it. We'll put that on the agenda for Tuesday night. Number 8 is continued discussion of the 2 expiring terms on the Park and Rec Commission for terms on 7/1/22 and ending 6/30/26. Ms. Humphries?
I discussed with Kelly prior to the meeting starting because I was unable to attend last month and I had trouble hearing, but I thought that you said you had already chosen to appoint Linda
Yes.
to the unexpired term, and it's listed on here, but you have already done that, she
Yes.
says. So the 2 that we have open would be the one of Jamie Davis and the one of Keenan Heathcote, but Keenan has reapplied.
Mhm.
And I listened to the discussion you all had, what I could hear, last month about reaching out to the people who had applied before. Kelly said she did that, and the Hedrick is the only one who was interested. Morgan was not, correct? Right. So, and at the last time the Park and Rec Board had discussed this, the recommendation was for the lady named Ward that had applied, Allison Brown Ward. But at the time, she was the only applicant. And then last month, you all decided to reach back out to the people who had applied previously. So my question is, do I need to take that back to the board on Thursday, since we now have this other lady back in the running? Because you all made that decision last month when I wasn't here. And she's reached back out to them, so now their recommendation at the time was her because there wasn't anybody else. Now there's more than one.
Did she put in for it before Ms. Hedrick put in for it?
Well, Hedrick had put in for the last opening, correct? The previous opening, and so we reached back out to her. This current opening, the only person that we had who had applied was Miss Ward. But then since we've called the previous applicants, we now have.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a good idea. If you've got somebody who applies before, we just.
Yeah, I
instead
agree.
of just
I
taking them
agree.
away and starting all over with again, reach back to those that had done it before.
I agree, but she wasn't proposed to the board at that time, so do you want me to take that to the board again then on Thursday,
Yeah,
and then we
that'd be
could vote on Tuesday?
Yeah.
That work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll add it to the agenda. Has anyone got anything on it? Number 9, discussion and approval to apply for the Public Entity Partner Safety driver safety and property conservation matching grants. Mr. Bowley.
Thank you, Mayor. These three, as you all know, every year we apply for all three of these grants. They're all reimbursement grants. They'll reimburse us up to 50% of qualified expenditures throughout the year. They come open at different times, and we thought this year would be a little more efficient just to get approval to apply for all three. That way, when they do come open, we can go ahead and submit the paperwork. So,
Yeah, I thought there was a longer title for all of them.
well, there's three titles. So,
Yeah.
yeah, 3 titles, 3 grants.
All right, is there any discussion on the safety grants? Okay, seeing none, item 10. Discussion and approval dispatch agreement with Rome County Emergency Communications District for fiscal year 2022-2023. Mr. Brown.
Ours has expired and they've sent it out to all of their customers and there's a 2% increase in it.
So,
We either pay it or we
do it ourselves.
hire 8 people to do it for us.
Okay, so I think we'll make sure that's added on the agenda for Tuesday night. All right, so that is the end of our agenda, so I'll start with Mr. Griffiths. Do you have anything to add or bring up?
Yes. This month, we're not having a library board meeting. I guess it's just everybody's sort of busy in July, so we're going to meet again next month. Just let everybody know, no meeting this month for the library board.
Okay. Mr. Wright, do you have anything?
I will be gone next week.
Okay.
Me too.
You will too?
Yeah.
Both of you gone?
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, do you have anything for him?
Just to report so that you know it on, like I always inform you on baseball, All-Stars state tournaments start, Thursday, and for the first time ever, Kingston has a representative in every age group. 5 and 6 starts in Greenbrier Thursday, our 7 and 8, the 5 and 6 starts in Fairview, and the 7 and 8, we've got a team in it starts in Greenbrier, and then the week after that, we've got a 9 and 10-year-old team that'll be going to Savannah to play, and that same week we'll have the state tournament for 11 and 12 will be in Harriman, and we've got a team in it. The 13-year-olds went to Dyersburg and won the state championship. They're going to Louisiana, and we got 2 more teams that are playing this weekend for state tournament rights down next to Dyersburg. So this is the first time in my years of doing it for 30-something years that we've ever had one in each age group that the Optimus Club does. So if you see any of those kids, and they've been everywhere. I think I've had my car washed 5 times already. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Stock, do you have anything?
Oh, one other thing. Yesterday, Mr. City Manager, I called you and told you to tell the employees, guys, for those of you who were not there Saturday, or if you were and I missed you, we had a great time Saturday. I thought crowd could have been better, but I think for our first time, it was a pretty good crowd. I hope RNL was happy with it. Yesterday, for the 4th of July celebration, again, I thought it went well. It was kind of warm, but I drove through this morning about 8:30, and the Parks and Rec people were picking up fences and barrels, and the trash was already gone. We must have 100 garbage cans. The truck came through, it had all those red garbage cans in it, and they were stacked to the brim. But again, all of y'all did a great job, even though if the city manager did go there.
It's because he won't listen. Is that it, Tom?
That's it, thank you.
Ms. Stockton.
One I don't know if anyone has seen it yet, but if you haven't, if you'll go out to the dog park and see the work of art that was done. I have to give a big thanks to Robert Sparks and his team. That's his creation. He did a master job at that, and the sheriff's inmate crew, y'all did a fantastic job. And then of course, Mr. Barger, wouldn't happen if he didn't allow us to have equipment, so thank you a lot, because the snow picking up those rocks. So excited. Obviously, it's not the time of year to do planning, so the city did great on bringing us some dirt, and I think they brought in mulch, but you can't plant really anything in July. So did a lot of work inside as well. We had Outdoor Kingston sponsored a professional painter, and she went in and just painted everything that was black. She painted everything, and she stained all the work that they had done, I think 2 years prior. So the city Thanks for the Parks and Recs. They provided all the material to allow us to work together to be able to accomplish that. So it helped on not having to have the guys out there doing that type of work, and was able to outsource it with just sponsorship. So big thank you. Everyone looked great. And the whole city with July 4th looked fantastic. Had a lot of people was complimenting the city. Looked very well, and loved the sidewalk with the lights. That was one of the biggest compliments, was the sidewalk, and they thought how clean it looked. So.
Anything else? Mr. Childs, you have anything?
Absolutely nothing, because it's nice being at the end over here, because everybody's touched on about everything, but it looks like you've got a lot of good things going on.
Next month I'll start on that end.
Do what?
Next month I'll start over there.
You're doing good.
Ms. Summers, you have anything?
Just from Park and Rec, just to echo what they've already said, the staff did a great job. All departments did a great job working together to put off the concert and the 4th. I think it went very well. We could have had a bigger crowd for the concert, but they were having Rockin' the Docks that night, so that kind of hurt us, but I think it went well. There's several issues that are going to be brought up to the Park and Rec Board this week on several different things that I'll report back to you guys next week, but it's several things we've kind of discussed ongoing, so
Okay.
I'll bring that to you all next week.
Okay. Can you find out and get us kind of an update on where we're at on the bucket truck in the bathroom? Sometime this before
no.
Tuesday, if
Well,
possible.
I can answer you that right now. We have no update on the bucket truck. We just checked on that a little bit ago, and they have nothing new to tell us. I do think we have a little more information on the restrooms.
When I talked to him, I guess it was last week, or maybe the week before that, he said they were still on schedule, which was 8 to 12 weeks out, so they're probably about 6 weeks now. This time.
Okay.
6 more weeks.
Okay. That's all I need to bring up, and they've all echoed the same thing about the concert Saturday night and everything at 4th of July yesterday, and the fireworks and stuff was real good. So, Mr. Bowling, do you have anything?
Well, I mean, obviously, just incredibly proud of all of our departments, the way they pulled together, as they always do, and you know, they're the reason that we're able to have the great events that we have and accomplish everything. So, you know, hats off to them, more than we can express. But one question I just had, Mayor, on item 8 on the Parks and Rec Commission, did you? I didn't hear. Did you put that on the agenda, or are you referring that back to Parks and Rec?
No, because they will meet Thursday, so
Okay.
they will discuss it Thursday night, and then Ms. Humphries can bring it to us Tuesday.
Okay.
So we'll put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Anything else?
I just had a quick question. David, do we have a date of when we ordered that bucket truck? Even a month?
Well, I'm
About
sure.
we ordered
Yeah,
it?
we have a date. I can't tell you off the top of my
Off the
head. but
off the top of your head, you don't remember?
I don't, but we can find that out for you.
I think
Okay,
it was earlier
thanks.
than that. Okay. Michelle, do you have anything? Ms. Jackson, do you have anything? Would you speak into your microphone so we can hear you, please?
We need to reschedule pictures. I know y'all love that. So July 12th is out evidently, because y'all are gonna be gone. What about August the 2nd? August the 2nd at
I'm
5?
not here on that date, August 2nd.
Okay, so when we gonna do pictures before the election? I mean,
I guess September.
August 9th or August 9th? And that's the next council meeting done?
I won't be here there then, but you don't need my picture in it anyway.
yeah, we do. We need a group picture.
Then
Jeff's
we'll
not in it.
Just paste me in it somewhere.
Photoshop you in there. I guess we'll try for September.
Okay.
Worth looking.
And is anybody else wanting to go to TML? I gotta make those reservations tomorrow, hopefully. Tara, are you gonna go? No. You going to all of them, or no? You don't know?
We did get an answer on yours. We'll be covering yours, but so just let us know when you want to go on this.
There is utility training, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's the day before or 2 days.
Saturday and
I
Sunday.
never did get credit for the last one.
Oh, I did.
I never did get my little deals unless they just sent
I
it.
think it comes.
I'll check. I don't know. I don't remember.
Is that all you had?
That's all.
Anything else anybody want to bring up tonight? All right, meeting adjourned.